Hey there, it looks like we've traveled back in time a little bit for today's matchup because we're watching the week 1 match between Where Does Liest Doof and one of the French teams for Fancy. It's week 1, technically still, of ETF2L season 45 or whatever it is, technically. Weird scheduling stuff, that aside, it's a busy week. Hi, I'm Cerny, joined by Dr. Underscore on the production and my man Steven on the mic. How's it going, dude?
It's going very well. Looking forward to this game. I mean, this is my second game watching some Frenchies in a row, but it's going to be a different team tonight. Going to be watching Forfent versus the Germans. My German pronunciation, awful. So I will not be saying their full name for the whole time. It will be simply the Germans. And it looks like we're starting on a bit of an interesting map here as well.
Yeah, we are going to be looking at Sultry first. We don't know the second map at all. They didn't give us anything, so we're completely in the cold for that one, in the dark. But we do have Sultry first, which is a map we haven't seen much, but the Germans did play this in their other match this week as well, against, I forgot who it was. But they did play their week 2 match this week as well. So they played Sultry there. They seem to have taken quite the liking to this map already. Given that most teams seem to have an absolute hatred for it. It's quite a surprising pick indeed. I mean, I guess the Frenchies didn't want to ban it either.
Yeah, it's quite a smart pick from them, right? If they feel quite confident on this map, and a lot of teams, they're not going to be putting them in the practice because they expect it just to be banned. So, you know, if it does go through these pick bans, it's definitely going to be a strong team for the Germans. And I believe they did win their last map on it. So, you know, they're going to be quite happy to play this again. Got some experience. Talking about experience, we have some experience on this German team. We got Vox Tech and Shocky. Shocky obviously been in the scene for a stupid amount of years. Known as one of the best scouts in Europe for a while, right?
Sure he was playing before I was even born. I feel like it feels like that. His bro's been around for ages, but yeah, that scout duo alone is already dangerous. You got Fishkopf and KN. KN coming over from, I believe, the old Mandem roster, trying to make a way for himself here. You got Philip on the demo and then Condog rounding it out on the medic. So we call them the Germans, even though they got 2 Brits on the team. Lord knows. I mean, I know Connor knows German. I don't know if KN does. Apparently, maybe if they're actually talking in German on the team. Then to be fair, I don't know. I mean, most people will not be able to rate this. They haven't played German pugs. Playing with German calls isn't that different. It's pretty much identical to English calls because you just say soldier low instead. Like it works the exact same way. So he can probably get along either way. Anyway, they're up against one of the French teams, right? You got Forfeit on the other side.
Yeah, they are up against Forfent. That roster is just going to be Shay and Nevo on the scouts. They've shown themselves to be really, really good. I think this roster is mostly unchanged from last season. I think Azunis may be new, but yeah, Azunis and Brugman on the soldiers, Alien Smiley on the demo man, and Poi rounding up that roster. As we are getting into this first map of Sultry here, why don't you take us away, Cerny?
Let's see how this very first mid-fight is gonna go for both of these teams. Very fast roll out of the soldiers from the French side here. Fishkopf gonna respond with a quick bomb of his own, though, denying the demo of Alien Smiley any ground here, and the mid-fight is underway. Shocky running in immediately, holding the W key, just running into the enemy team. Gets shut down, unfortunately, but the fallout bomb by KN is there as well. They try and pressure people back. Fishkopf trying to shut down the flank. Doesn't quite work either. They only found Azunis in that entire scramble. KN, however, has slipped in behind. He's gonna be a bit of a nuisance, although I do think the Frenchies are very well aware, considering they're all kind of looking behind, waiting for this guy to pounce. Either way, at the very least, the Germans kept their medic alive in that whole scramble last mid-fight, and Brugman is not going to get anything done here either, so they're going to keep him nice and safe and secure on second.
Yeah, I think they knew once they had that one player behind that they'd be chilling for the moment. KN is in a bit of a rat position, actually. If the cam goes on him, he's hiding all the way behind. He's looking now for his play. Should be sending in the jump soon, just doing a little bit of spotting. Scout does find him first, though, so he has to back up. That will probably be their play for now. Just going to stabilize for a little bit. Having that, you know, play of having KN behind does give them a good opportunity on the Germans to walk forward if they really want to and try to pressure in to let that bomb do something. I'd assume that's the play they want to do, but I think being chased behind by Brugman is KN, so they're having a bit of a battle. So you can come out on top, but we do see a battle on the mid starting to come out. There's a little bit of pressure from the Germans. They're not too sure if they want to fully commit in. They are in through the choke here, though, so looks like they have to stay in. Shay has managed to get behind as well as the Ubers are exchanged out, looking a little better for the Germans on this one. See if they can pick up some kills. Alien Smiley going down as the first casualty. We'll see if they can get much more, as there is a back cap actually coming from behind here. They do capture the second point, already extending a scout into last. See if he can get anything done here. He is getting onto that point, but can someone beat him?
They do manage to clean him up, but that was so weird, that entire thing. Because while that thing was going on, KN was fighting Brugman, and then also Zunis came back to at least try to meet him for a while. So the Germans went in while there were 2 soldiers missing for the Frenchies, but they took so long that Zunis came back and flanked with Shay to go for the back cap, which completely screwed them on this entire exchange. And now, somehow throughout all of that, they've still stabilized. Both medics are alive, both medics have equal Ubers, and now we're back in the same situation. It was the weirdest, most chaotic chain of events I've ever seen take place, and yet we are exactly back to square one. Like, nothing has changed at all.
I think we managed to somehow have 3 different fights going on in 3 different places, and I was really unsure of where to watch there. But yeah, they managed to get just flankers, I think, through both Cheese and Frog there from the Frenchies, so that's really dangerous. If they want to go for those sort of plays again, they just need to be really careful here on the side of the Germans, because that could really work. Those points seeming to cap quite fast. Looks like they are sending a bit of pressure out here on the Frenchies. Fishkov does go for a high bomb, see if he can land on it, but huge damage onto this demo, and Scouting gets a nice 2k for himself. 1 player behind, needs to be a bit careful of that. Brugman lurking, should get this pick, he does eventually. Uber is forced out during the meantime on the French side here, so this is looking very nice for the Germans.
Oh, Azuna slips in though, manages to get the force out of Kondog as well, and Brugman is still in behind, being a little bit of a thorn here. They're gonna probably chase him away, he does escape, but even just being behind for a bit was a problem, and KN doesn't hit those, unfortunately. Brugman may not live, he does get cleaned up by Voxy at the very, very least here, but now the Germans will not be able to take this midpoint for as free as they would have wanted to. They are still up 2 players on the Frenchies. Azuna's just now spawning, means they have a little bit of an easier time actually contesting this point here. That's exactly what they're doing. They're going to try to get that capped up as quickly as they can. At least convert that. Even if they're going to have a slight disad, it's not much to write home about for the Frenchies in terms of ad. So, we have flipped mid.
We have, and I mean, there's definitely been good opportunities to come in here and make plays, right? Both these teams been pretty proactive so far, so it's looking good for this map if, you know, these plays can keep coming in, these things happening. KN does try to go in, but Sticky Trap just denies him from Alien Smiley, so I think that will be the Germans coming down. We'll see if they give a retort here on the Frenchies, see if they want to do anything. Brugman is spamming in this cheese area, maybe just looking for some info, see if anyone can find anything, but I think getting onto this midpoint is quite difficult, right? You have that little high ground lip that a scout can potentially stand on mid, and it just makes it so hard to bomb through choke. You can only really get through that flank, but you're always going to have a soldier watching that so close.
It's a very tough thing to get through. It seems like a very tough hole to get through in general. You do have that choke. It is very much like Process as well. It looks similar, just a bit tighter. You could maybe try to send some fast bombs through there, but you have so much more vision for the people defending as well. They can see much sooner what is coming, and Nevo just on that fence is already being a menace, making sure that is shut down. So we'll have to see what KN tries to do here with his bomb. He does get a very good bomb and actually manages to juggle Poi, almost hit the air shot, gets the force out, which is all that matters at the end of the day. If you can't get the kill, that's the next best thing. And now the Germans, if they can take care of these stickies and not have Kondog run into them and drop like that!
Oh,
they could have had a nice thing happen. Unfortunately, it looks like Voxy was just kind of spread thin, trying to decide whether he should shoot stickies or enemies.
Yeah, there's just too much going on there. That's the problem with trying to get in through cheese. It seems like your best option, but it's actually so easy just to spam through that doorway, and having those sticky traps up and like 2 soldiers, especially you trying to dodge spam, it was just too much there. They didn't want to use that Uber so flippantly in the end, but it ended up costing them here, as now look how aggressive they're just able to go on this French side. They've managed to take the second for free. They're already on 80% Uber. There is a crit screen on the Germans. This is the Connor special. He loves going crits, because if you're not going to get the Uber, you may as well have the chance of getting that crits. Already on 50%, it's looking pretty good for them, but the Frenchies now coming in through this right side. There's a nice little sticky jump for Alien Smiley, going to take that sentry gun down early. They've got a lot of space here on this right hand side. Already getting 4 times on this gap. Can they defend this? So many players coming out. Oh wow, the damage.
They just absolutely nuke everybody on that point. It's only Brugman and Alien left against Voxy, KN, and Kondog here. The healing is in the advantage, and Voxy is doing his best, his absolute best impression there of a fellow German who likes to play the Pyro as well. So that worked out wonderfully. They got that on lock. However, there's a chase spy, and I don't know if they're going to be expecting this one. He's certainly not going to be able to go for the cheeky back cap at this point, but if he decloaks at the right point and the right time, Kondog might be finding himself with a knife in his back sooner than he'd like. That being said, he only has a crit, so it's not like the biggest deal if he drops it. He might have a good might need a good target to even use it on in the first place, so maybe that's gonna be Philip here, or maybe he's just gonna drop. There you go. That's that taken care of as well. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly the play you want to make there, right? There was a good amount of distraction. They did lose one for it. Brugman went down trying to play nice and aggressive there, but they still managed to get 2 picks from it, so that has meant that they can't really send a huge amount of counter-aggression through here. They are just going to be holding up with these stickies. They've done a good job so far of defending, and I think just constantly pressuring them is going to let them just set up for last here. Voxy already on the engineer, so they are going to at least have a decent defense coming up, but already on 90% on that Uber. See if Frenchies can make it work this second push.
They have another attempt here, they have another full Uber, and we'll see if they want to use it as early again. I think that early Uber pop did bite them in the end, because they just couldn't spread out enough, get enough ground, and got mulched down, but they're gonna pop us early again. Alien again with the skip jump, gets the sentry instantly. Will the Germans have the same hold once more? They have Boxy on the power already, gets juggled, and goes high in the sky. Does crater eventually though, but that doesn't matter. Soldiers are just nuking everybody. KN and Fishcup are taking down everyone. It's only Azunas and Boy left. The latter running for his life, the former trying to do something but cratering, and there you go, they both get taken out. So it's another wipe for the Frenchies. They cannot crack this last push.
Yeah, what a great defense here. From the Germans, they've just, it seems slightly unbreakable. I think these soldiers maybe need to be dealt with. Maybe they send a little more pressure through this left-hand side with the demo man instead and lock off that left door a little earlier, because they're just not really able to lock it down as much as they potentially like. That pirate obviously got denied by the demo man crossing, but that's all they really got throughout that entire fight. And then yeah, Kayan and Fishkoff just came in for an absolute collapse in that post-Uber. And now it looks like the crits does come out. Alien Smiley going down, but Shay on the sniper gets Condog straight afterwards. Oh, and gets a second onto KN as well. Lovely stuff here. So now this looking pretty nice for the Frenchies. Just Shocky left alive against 2 soldiers with a beam. I know who I would bet on if I was in this situation.
I mean, yeah, but this is Shocky we're talking about. In his peak, this man can pull off some miracles. Even if just staying alive would already be a miracle here, he does not pull that off, unfortunately. But there was an attempt made. Good snipes by Shay. Really pulling that one back for them, because even if the crits only got the demo and not much else, if they were just able to get as much ground more, or like another crit sticky off somewhere, that could have gone very differently for the Germans. They would have had a much better momentum headed into the tail end of that fight, but Shay shutting it down, some clutch snipes, really pulling that out there, and the Germans find themselves back on their last again. However, they seem to be very comfortable here, so I don't know if I'm really all that concerned right now.
Right. You know what they say, third time's a charm. It's the exact same Uber straight onto Alien Smiley. Going to deal with that sentry gun here. They need to go for these soldiers, though, realistically, right? They've done this every time. Good job just trapping the point there from Alien Smiley. Gets the early pick onto Fish. Got so much damage onto that heavy. He will go down as well. Just a couple more players they need to deal with. But actually, Connor got the Uber here, but it's only fill it up. 8 seconds till their next spawner. This Uber is barely going to last even that long. Alien Smiley juggling off the point. There goes Philip, and there goes the first round towards 4th fence. And now we get the geyser, the best part of this map.
Beautifully done. Yeah, that time they knew exactly what the Germans were going to try. They shut down the soldiers beautifully. They make sure the point is on lockdown, and focusing down the heavy was just the cherry on top of that end. Got it done beautifully. Third time was indeed the charm. They figured it out. Now the Germans have to switch up the strategy, because I don't think that hole's going to work as well again. That being said, maybe they won't have to. Maybe they just win now, as we're headed into our next little mid-fight here. And yeah, it's off to a pretty similar start. KN goes in for a little bit of a deep bomb. Doesn't really land on much. There goes Brugman for a response. Lands directly on top of Connor, but can't hit any rockets. It's going to be Azunas trying to follow it up instead, and he does clean that kill up. 2 soldiers for a medic. Probably a pretty good trade on a mid-fight.
Yeah, they've just run away, straight away here on the side of the Frenchies. They do not want to take any risks here. It does look like they're sending a scout in through Frog. I don't know if he's actually spotted. No one looking for him. Does decide to back up. Decides that, you know, maybe he was spotted, or maybe no one else could get in with the health. They had to assist him on his little bit of espionage he was trying to get through. It looks like now the Frenchies setting up to try to go for some pushes. I do see Alien Smiley really just looking at a doorway with stickies. Finally gets to walk forward here, as now we'll see how they take this. A lot of spam going to come in on this one door. The soldier does jump up onto that top little lip. He's going to get pre-denied by K on. Fishkoff will go down during this, however, so I think probably going to have to back out if you are the Germans here. Already on 65% Uber here. They are going to have to go fast on the Frenchies if they want to make anything happen, Cerny.
Yeah, they are going to have to move very quickly, and if moving Fishkoff down as well, they will have an opportunity here to actually make some space. That being said, they got forced very early, but didn't get any kills with it at all. They just got some ground. It's a zoning Uber at best. Connor is going to have his charge ready, and it is gonna be perhaps used as well to try and pressure people back. Maybe it doesn't even have to. Maybe he's not gonna feel any pressure at all. They lose Shocky, but the Frenchies are just not able to continue any grounds here. They respect that Uber too much. They're just gonna give it up and reset it back to mid.
Yeah, I don't blame them there. I don't think their health ended up particularly good throughout that fight. There was a lot of good spam from Fishkoff from the Shutters area, and I think their positioning maybe just not perfect. Philip does come in, spearheads this Uber, in deep, hits the first pipe, can't find the second. Unfortunately, Medic surfed that away so well. Rest of the Uber tries to chase up a little bit, but Poi positions themselves just slightly too well, unable to really get too much going. There is a back cap here on this second point. However, Zunes shut down too many players, has made a good amount of space here though. The Germans need to be a little bit careful about overextending into these scouts. It's kind of not really gone as well as, you know, the start of that Uber would have, you know, made you think it would have.
Yeah, a lot of these aggressive demo Ubers on this map with all the ramps you can slide off of and like very, very deep bombs in. But the problem is, even if you're Ubered when you do it, you're still going to end up being a little weak by the time you actually land. And if you don't hit those crucial second pipes or stickies, you are a sitting duck. So Philip gets taken down immediately. No follow-up can be done either. The rest of the Uber was just too late to arrive, and a couple of soldiers slip through, threaten the back cap. Germans immediately on the back foot again. Now, Poi's gonna have an Uber ready here. However, Connor's up on his soon as well, so we're gonna be looking at an exchange potentially, depending on who pops first. Che gets nice shot out of the air there by KN, anti-air gun. Poi gets forced off trying to keep his team alive, and Connor again not feeling any threats at all by these Frenchies. Gonna have an Uber of his own to use on this mid if he so desires. Maybe he doesn't even have to. Maybe there's not gonna be any pressure on him at all. With Che down, these Frenchies are feeling very, very unconfident and do not wish to pressure this whatsoever.
Yeah, I think they just decided to wave the white flag as they did lose Shay there. Tried to run in, did Nevo, and tried to get the force onto Connor, but he held it very strong.
Oh.
Nice little bomb in there. Does take down Alien Smiley, so the advantage just keeps stacking a little bit. Connor did use his Uber to get in here, but if they want to go in, it's going to be even Ubers, but there's a Zunis in the back, tries to go for the scout, doesn't manage to get anything. Poi will go down during this little bit of aggression though, so if anything, they might not get this point straight away, but they should be able to repush and get onto this last. There's only Alien Smiley alive to defend this. Is luckily on the right side, takes down Foxy, gives him a bit of time for Nevo to come in, but instantly shut down by KN.
KN hitting the anti-air on scouts right now. This man is a menace. If you are a French scout, better watch out. It's a no-fly zone. This man has established it. It's anti-air season. The Germans come back, pick themselves up another nice round there. That was beautifully played. Shocky they're trying to block him on the second cap right, Che, with the sniper, and then Azuna's coming in as well, but neither can really do it for long. Meanwhile, both of them are missing from the fight on last, and their entire rest of the team dies. Just like that, they converted off the back of it. Next little mid-fight. Let's see how this one goes for the Germans. Maybe this time they can actually keep Connor alive. Another deep bomb in by a soldier once more. And lots of damage onto Poi immediately. Just a bit of follow-up is needed, but they're not really finding it. They're actually losing everybody else, just slowly wailing away a couple of frags. There you go. Maybe an Azunas as well, but it's only KN and Philip left. Neither really healthy. Both very disconnected as well. Poi lived once more.
Yeah, Poi gave the absolute moves on that mid. Fishkoff bombed in early. There was a scout chasing in. I think it might have been Voxy just trying to go deep onto him. And then managed to escape. KN was always going to be a threat up in that cheese area, but managed to dodge all of it. So really well played by Poi on that mid and has secured their team an Uber advantage here. So now it is the Frenchies' turn. They want to push onto this second. Some aggressive soldier bombs coming in, followed up by some demo spam by Alien Smiley. Should be enough to force the Germans back here. However, they are building well. They are on Uber. Connor's decided not to get onto the crit screen for this thing, for this one. But all this, you know, little bit of annoyances is all good, as they do tend an Uber in here.
No! Connor was so overextended, got completely disconnected from his team, and had to go out under, gets juggled into the air, and is completely caught in no man's land to just get cleaned up by a scout. A true disaster for them to lose him like that. The only saving grace is KN and Shocky pulling out a miracle flank here and just backcapping like that. Completely stalling out the French team from anything they could do. So even though they're gonna have a bit of an ad here, if Connor builds like a madman and they can stall out a little bit longer, they actually have a chance. They're still holding this last pretty comfortably.
Yeah, Shocky's still in behind here. I think actually maybe even wants to go in for a bit, taking a 1v1 on mid. Not looking so good for him thus far. It is Shay trying to chase him down. He's going to escape into Frog, get that health pack, but he's in such dire enemy territory, and they've just not been building well here on the side of the Germans. They've actually gained like a disadvantage so far here. Shocky has been a pain,
How
but
does
they
he
are
get
going to
out?
send this. I don't know, but they send an Uber in here. This is advantage. Take down that sentry gun early. They've been good last time they did this at denying these soldiers. Not so good at this time. Don't get an early pick. Thus far, Shocky and KN actually going down in the end, so taking it a little slower. This might work out, but there's a Voxy Heavy. It's such a threat if they don't get this focus fire into him. It's all going to be over, but that's exactly what they do. They get that second round here on the Frenchies, and they're looking pretty decent so far this game.
Yeah, they're looking strong. We've got about 12 minutes left as well on the map, so it's gonna start coming down to a little bit of a dicey time here for the Germans if they want to pick another round up and actually put themselves back in this match. 12 minutes? It's enough time to get around, but is enough time to get two? If the Frenchies want to slow down the pace a little bit, we might be looking at a done match already if they don't find some pace themselves on the side of the Germans as the next mid-fight unfolds, and they haven't had these unlocked so far. Brugman again with a deep bomb in. Connor immediately nuked down by the soldiers. They don't find any response on the other side. They only clean up the bombers, basically. KN does find a nice little pickaxe kill onto Che, but he's also the only one left alive against the scout that is on the beam. So, yeah, that's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, that's not one you usually win here. Yeah, as you were saying, this is not what the Germans wanted. They wanted a really solid mid when they kept Connor alive. It's worked out really well, I think, so far. Usually, when they get those bombs in and just focus down point and make sure Connor gets out, he seems to be pretty safe on that second, but they've just been struggling to do that. These French soldiers have just been so prolific so far this game. Their bombs have been so strong here. We'll see how their defense mounts up here. I think this is maybe only their second time actually. No, that's a complete lie. I was going to say second time, and this is like the fifth time defending. See if they mix anything up here, because their standard defense not really working anymore. Alien Smiley, same thing again. Pogo's in on that demo man. KN is looking for anything he can get here. Does have to bomb to defend this point, and it's an absolute nuke onto Nevo again. Azun is taken down quite low as well, so now this looking really good for the Germans. Get those two early soldier picks. You're allowed to chase in a little bit if you want to here, but it's Brugman might actually get a huge deny here.
Okay.
Felix somehow trades out for that.
Okay, nice couple of pipes out of Philip there, but he is using the Iron Bomber, so I'm gonna have to deduct points for it anyway. We're in a pause, by the way, but yeah, good hold by the Germans. They're gonna find themselves in a nice opportunity to actually flip the ways here, maybe go coast to coast if they really want to take it far. That being said, the pause is scary because that could mean that a round was converted, and this is a tack pause, or a round was converted because somebody crashed, and it's a pause for that. Either way is possible. I couldn't possibly tell you which one it is. In terms of what we're looking at right now, the Germans probably win this fight for second.
Yeah, they should be able to push in here. Shea is putting up a valiant effort at just kind of denying the early aggression here from KN, but it looks like there's a little scout on his way to come help him. So yeah, German shouldn't have too much of a difficulty pushing in here. There's also a soldier. I'm not sure if he's going to rocket jump or not. There's something happening on the stream camera, and I'm not too sure what it is. But what do you think the Germans really need to do to get back into this game? Obviously, we've seen that their last holds have been really good, but maybe just a little shaky with flanks on this map. I think a lot of our plays we've been seeing that have been kind of turning the tides have just been flanks.
There's been a lot of backcaps out of both teams, but more so out of the Frenchies. There's been several occurrences now where the Germans push in. They have a great Uber push in. Unfortunately, the French team just kind of splits, and half of them go behind and backcap, and then the other half just kite the Uber forever, and basically nothing gets done with it. I guess that's just the nature of the map. There's a lot of very long hallway flank routes where you can easily slip past somewhere. It's unlike some other maps where, it's a little bit easier to watch every door at once and make sure that you shut everything down. And obviously, even if they've been maybe playing it a little bit, it's unfamiliarity, right? The map is still a little bit new as well. That can probably be part that plays into it. But yeah, beyond that, I really think it's just being cleaner on the pushes, making sure you don't let people slip in behind as much. I think that's what you need.
Yeah, I think Poi also just being able to stay alive
Yeah.
a lot more than Connor has. I think he's been having more of a tough time. I don't know if that's just more of, they're just double bombing soldiers onto Connor's face and he doesn't have much of a chance, or he gets unlucky and walks into a sticky trap before he uses. But yeah, I mean, Connor's had a rough one so far. Let's hope one of these pipes is just in midair, doesn't manage to connect with him. And somehow make him drop. It looks like it's not quite on trajectory. It's probably going to be a roller, but yeah, I mean, he's got to worry about it. But where do you think this goes after they've pushed? Obviously, only on 40% Uber on Poi. They should be able to get mid on the Germans as well, but then they've got that push into second where We've seen there's opportunities to do things, but it also feels like it's so easy to get that counter
Oh,
aggression as the game does get on pause here. Exactly what happens that does, exactly what we said would happen does happen as the Germans have got this point, and they'll be looking to push into mid here, Cerny.
yeah, they gotta keep rolling this with this momentum. They gotta make use of that Uber ad as long as they still can. If they slow down even just a bit here, they won't even get mid for free. Ideally, they just get a nice little bomb onto Poi or something like that going, but the Frenchies have been good at shutting that down. They're actually just gonna use their own Uber as Shocky kills 3 people. Fair enough. I appreciate he wasn't even on the beam. He just cleaned up some damage, and that's all he had to do. Boys back on form. That's all it takes for the Frenchies to back out. Crucially, though, they did keep Poi alive, they did keep their Uber ad, and even if they're going to be sitting on last now, that Uber is going to be hard to push against. Even if they won't be able necessarily to push out with it, they are going to be stalling for time.
Yeah, this is very true. There's no real reason for them to over-aggress here, take that risk on pushing out, and if you do fail it, then they instantly get to push back on the German side here, so definitely the right play just to bunker up on this last point. So now it's really for the Germans to try to figure something out. It's a little bit of 4D chess coming in here. How do you get this gun? How do you deal with this heavy as well? It seems quite difficult. This gun placement on point is honestly ridiculously hard to get. There's no real angles that you're going to be able to get into other than under, but Azuna shows us why that's so dangerous. Nearly takes down both soldiers all by their lonesome. So you got to be really careful. It's really only under and left side you could spam that gun from. So I think that's exactly what we will see here. This is where the pause came. So maybe just talking strats actually about how they're going to deal with this last ult. Smart idea.
Yeah, it does seem like there was no real call for the pause or anything like that. There's not anybody crashed, so it was definitely a tactical talk. Let's see if the strats work for the Germans as KN jumps into a heavy and just gets immediately mowed down. The sentry takes care of Fishcup as well, so the double soldier bomb into last with the heavy and sentry is a tough thing to bomb against, especially on the last point that's this open. But I gotta commend the effort. They at least made an attempt, and it's certainly not like the Frenchies are gonna start pushing out anytime soon.
No, Shay was looking to maybe try to go back into spawn, but they decide against it in the end. We do have the KN sniper sitting in spawn at the moment, so might want to go for that. He's switching back and forth. Shay is out on the sniper, so we are going to have an SVS happening here. So this should definitely be interesting. Shay has really shown their colors these past couple of seasons, shown how good they can be on this sniper. But KN, also very good, a soldier player, but also has some pretty damn amazing aim as well. We'll see who can find that first snipe. They do meet on this left side. No headshots ringing out. One onto KN there. Will not be fatal, luckily. Has that buff. But yeah, so it's like a Mexican standoff.
It's the problem with this as well. It's like such an aggressive peak. You're gonna get spammed as well, so you almost can't charge the shot, but you gotta, because both snipers are easily always gonna be overhealed. So it's really trying to balance that in the sniper duel as well. And I think, well, especially the Germans really banking on KN actually making something work here. But as soon as a bit of spam comes in, you're gonna have a rough time really getting him those deep angles. You gotta try to respond with your own. Unfortunately, eating another headshot on somebody is nobody gonna make that easy. Shocky going down as well as Fishcup, just trying to maybe make a little bit of space, get into last or something. Not happening. Azunas in the meantime is just putting a lot of pressure on the Germans, gets them all the way back to second. And unless KN starts getting some angles and hitting some heads, this sniper play is not going anywhere.
Yeah, this is really just melting down that clock. Only 2 minutes remaining for them to push. And what we end up seeing a lot of the time is, you'll go for these plays for the first 4 minutes, and then that last minute, you've just kind of got to go for a trade. It's your only real option remaining. You kind of set up and you go for the pick. KN does hit the return headshot there, but neither sniper going down. Fishkoff once again losing his life to an alien smiley sticky trap. So again, this just burns down the clock. All these tiny little micro mistakes just do not allow you to continue making those plays, because once you don't have one player on the doors, I mean, it's just GG. You just run the risk of getting flanked and getting your medic forced and your play just being a total disaster. So once again, have to wait for that Fishkoff spawner before they can even get back into position.
Yeah, Boxy trying to be aggressive on the flank there as well, maybe catch somebody who's overextended, but once more, the sniper play. Let him charge his shot. Maybe that's all they need. A little bit of space. They're actually going to just use the Uber in. Try to maybe work with the Chaos play here. Obviously, the response come out of the Frenchies immediately. But that's all she wrote. It's just a bit of an exchange. They find Azunas in the crossfire, which effectively just makes it an even fight, considering they still have the KN sniper as well, who's not going to help anything unless he starts ringing off headshots. And obviously, Che's on the other side, doing the exact same thing, shutting down Fishcup on the sniper. Shocky gets taken care of by a little body shot. So does Fishcup, for that matter. So things are not looking good for the Germans here. We may very well be going to the round reset very soon. They have maybe one more opportunity to get an Uber charge in here, but they gotta build like crazy and either have KN hit a headshot or, yeah, he's just going back and going back to Soldier. The walk of shame back to the force. Oh, he didn't even get in! Oh, no!
On the bright side, they have been building exceptionally well on the Germans here, about a 20% advantage. Just been building with the alien smiley sword during this, so a little less efficient. If Voxy wants to go straight in on this, they actually might find something. 85% Uber, going to be about 90 once they reach the medic here. Have to go for the gun first, and luckily so it does give a good amount of time here for Poi to try to build out the Uber. 99% will get it in the end, but they they just stand on the cap. They fear so much about not getting the Uber that they just allow 2 players to stand on that cap, and they bring it to a 2-2 on the Germans.
They just stand on the point and body block the Ubered players trying to block the point, and that's all it takes to make it equal again. What a chain of events. KN getting snubbed from the forward spawn, trying to switch back classes, and then the last push still working anyway. What a wonderful chain of events. This is one of the games ever, and we're into our probably final mid-fight. As, well, let's see if the Germans can finally ring out a dub on these, or if the soldiers from the French side are going to be the disastrous force for them once more. It's actually looking pretty good. They do take care of them as well as Alien. Boy gets taken down. Okay, this is a much different form for the Germans on this mid-fight. It's only the scouts left. They do lose a couple players on their own side, but as long as they can keep Shocky and KN on the beam here, this should be very easy to take care of these 2 scouts eventually. The war of attrition is on their side, and if Kondog doesn't find himself in any much hot water, which is scary, because he's now going up against Nevo, and he's a bit disconnected. You got a body block for the scout. Oh, okay, he lives. Until Azunas comes in with the forward spawn. Until then.
Yeah, just gets the rollout kill after all that bloody blocking, that good defense, those nail-biting scenarios. Just a soldier that rolls out, you're just looking the wrong way at the map, and unfortunately, you forget about that spawner coming up. Connor loses his life, and loses it quite late. Actually might be even more detrimental how long he lived, because look at this 60% advantage for the Frenchies.
It is certainly a good chance for them to do something on, and I mean, we're in an equal round, so it's not like they could really just sit on their laurels now and run out the clock. They actually have to make a move if they want to win this in regulation time and take themselves the full 3 points of the map. Otherwise, they've already lost 1 if we're going to a golden cap, which at this point, well, I don't think either team would necessarily want to have happen, but may very well happen. Brugman tries going for a fast bomb, but gets denied immediately, can't really land on anything. Does live for the time being, though. None of the Germans get taken down either. All of them go very low. The Fish Cup actually does get chipped away, so does Voxy. It's all crumbling for them very quickly, but I guess they did have to respect that Uber ad as well, and well, Kondog did escape for the time being, has his team to back him up as well, and even if they have to give up a lot of ground here, they will keep that Uber ad that Uber ad live in general and make that ad go away for the Frenchies. Matter of fact, they might just have to hold last again.
Yeah, they're already setting up a lot of aggression over this left side of last on the Frenchies. Pretty unspotted. This is the first time they're going to be seeing them is now, and they are just able to kind of walk in. It's going to be even Ubers, but if they can kind of keep up this aggression, and Brugman just goes in so deep, gets taken out by the Pyro. Philip will go down, so no Demo Man getting on that point. Fishkoff also taken down to 7 health. Can he live? He can for now. They decide not to push this super hard straight away, but they do finally use the Uber out here onto Nevo. Take a trade, looking a little bit better actually, potentially, for the Frenchies here as the rest of the squad does come back in through. They are ready to repush it, do take down Poi without full damage, but they have a good opportunity to push in if they want to here, but they decide not to. They decide it's too hard to push out to this second point. Let's make our stand here. Let's run down this clock as much as we can and give them less of an opportunity to steamroll this on the Germans. Smart plan.
Yeah, this is very much a good idea. Going up against that heavy would have probably been a problem as well. Brugman gets taken down, though. They're bleeding players. They need to hold the second if they don't want to... Well, if they want to take it to a golden cap guaranteed. I mean, there's only a minute and a half left roughly as well, which is a tall order to go coast to coast on, but if I've seen a team do it, I've seen these Germans do it. They've had some wild, chaotic strats on this map so far. I wouldn't be too surprised if they revel in this chaos as well, if they can create a little bit more of it. And the Uber ad speaks for itself as well. If Brugman can get any word in here, he could thwart that a bit, but it's not happening. He's just going to be behind. Kondog is going to use his Uber, trying to keep as many of his players alive as KN and Philip unfortunately do get picked off. Well, one of them was behind, so I suppose Brugman did get something accomplished with that. And matter of fact, he might be getting away with more here if they don't shut him down soon enough. There's the there's the rest of the team following up. So yeah, there's nothing happening for the Germans anymore. There's absolutely no way they can go coast to coast in a minute now. It's gonna be on this last hole somehow, with a couple of respawners coming up and the Uber in their disadvantage as well. It's not looking all that great for them, to be honest.
Yeah, Frenchie's back with the ad here. It is going to be about 40-50% here. Zunis looking for a peek into last. The rest of the team does follow on through. Want to take that gun down early. Again, a Nevo trade coming in aggressively, getting some early cap time. Good flashes here from Poi. They play this pretty well, but the Heavy, again, is just allowed to come out with a full buff. It's so annoying on this map, the Pyro, man.
It's doing so much work for them. Voxy's just not getting the focus. He's finally getting a bit low, but they couldn't focus him down. The Uber's out for Connor as well, and the Germans are gonna hang on. They are taking it to the golden cap. There is no way they're losing this in regulation time. They are securing at least 1 point against this really strong French team. They did play second last season, so let's not forget that. That being said, there are still 6 seconds left. Anything could happen. I shouldn't have a foregone conclusion, but no. The last little pup push doesn't happen. Shocky kills 2 with a reflect, and that is it. We're going to a golden cap.
What an exciting match. It's been so back and forth. I think both teams really trying to play these flanks, and I don't know if it's to their detriment sometimes. I think kind of the set plays with these soldiers jumping in aggressive, looking at the front has worked better. They're all trying to be a little bit cheeky, catch these medics off, trying to get the most advantages they can to make these last pushes a bit easier, because, yeah, these defenses of the Germans have been really, really strong. I think the Frenchies kind of winning over on most of the map, but the Germans, whew, they have been a brick wall on that last point a lot of the time.
Ruling that point with an iron fist. Nobody is getting in or out of that place without them having a say on it. The Pyro doing so much work for them as well. We didn't see it at all on the French defenses. They obviously had the heavy sentry instead. But the Pyro's been doing so much work. What is it with German scout players just loving to off-class Pyro and doing unbelievable amounts of work? It's a trend I'm noticing.
I think it really depends on the map. If you see the Pyro, I think when it's much more close quarters, like we do see on that last, where there's a lot of sidelines blocked off, and you kind of have to spam that point to really get on the medic. You can't really get a flank above him or behind him, such as you could get on the process. I think that's when the Pyro kind of comes out and is the most prolific. And maybe they've seen that on the Germans, and they've been like, you know what, this is the perfect time to put on my Gazi cosplay.
Oh, it seems to have been working well so far. I guess we can look at the logs for a quick moment. They are on the screen. You can see a pretty telling sign that this is a rather equal match in the grand scheme of things. Like, the Frenchies do a bit more damage, the Germans clean it up a little bit better. It's rather equal on stats. It's hard to really have something stand out right now in the first glance, at least.
Yeah, I mean, Nevo going kind of big during this. But other than that, I mean, there's nothing too much. I mean, he was playing the pocket scout role and getting every single Uber, so I would hope he would be doing a lot of work. But yeah, I mean, Connor, I mean, as I was saying, he's dying 4 times more than Poi. Poi only dying 5 times during that entire series, and I think they died like twice on that final round as well. So yeah, I mean, Poi just doing a good job of staying alive, and I think that's been their game plan. A little more on forefence to play around their medic, whereas they've been playing a little more chaos, a little more in the DM on the side of the Germans, and just kind of leaving Nevo to try to make Corndog live, basically.
Oh, well.
Nevo, sorry.
Yeah.
Shocky.
If it works, it works, and even if you can't necessarily win everything off of raw DM, this kind of shows that you can at least get very far. Because, yeah, in terms of, like, coordination, and I think overall, like, at least the way they play the map, the Frenchies look much more in control, right? They are on the enemy side's map, of the side of the map, much more frequently than the Germans are on the enemy side of the map, and yet this is such an equal matchup. So clearly DM can take you quite far, and we'll see if it can take them through this golden cap as well, as this is going to be the tiebreaker. Both teams have already secured a point, at least, out of this map. Neither team going home with a full score today. We'll have to see who takes home an extra one, aka whoever wins this golden cap, as maybe for once the Germans can have a clean mid-fight that doesn't have any unnecessary casualties and actually really takes them further than just the second point, as the French soldiers immediately bomb in again. They find Kondok, they find Voxy, but they don't actually find any damage on them, and there goes Azunas. Alien also taken down by just the German aggression on the other side, and they're just going to push all these French players back. Shay maybe being a bit of a threat there, but doesn't get the crucial final damage he needs onto Kondok, and if they can have Bruggeman shut down in the backlines, which they're very much aware of, Shocky is going to have a word with this guy, and yeah, he's going to shut that down immediately, so it's only Poi and Alien left. Never mind, Poi has actually been killed. It's only Alien left on last. This is an absolutely dominating mid-fight out of the Germans. They take it almost all the way to last.
Yeah, they just went so aggressive there. Poi nearly getting back to spawn, but KN was on the chase, was on the prowl, smelt blood, and got the kill there in the very end of things. So now they are looking for this little left side push. It's worked out well for them in the past. Do use Uber quite early here. Do have to deal with a Pyro in this post, and Brugman being quite annoying, but is going to get quite denied in this in the air. But no, managed to get the 2 rockets onto Corndog. So that's no kills for the rest of this push here. And look at this. They're just...
They find him anyway. They find Alien, they find Poi. It's only Nevo left as the heavy, and even if everybody's low, you can't clean up 4 targets at once. Unfortunately, your bullets don't spread out that far. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Connor dying doesn't even matter. They just win by raw DM once more.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just took so much space there. On both sides, they weren't really watching out for that left-hand side for the flank to come through, and they eventually just managed to kind of make them crumble. It didn't really matter. Connor died because he he was such a distraction, and they did eventually get enough picks to make things happen. But yeah, really well played for the Germans there. I mean, maybe they had a chat. They were like, guys, this is exactly what they're going to do, and they played their game plan perfectly. It's interesting to see those different last pushes, though. We did see the Frenchies a lot of the time were just pushing the right side, whereas the Germans push the left side. I'm not sure which is really better, but yeah, it's interesting to see that there's more than one push here. That's one of the better things about these new maps here, right? We get to experiment a little, we get to see what works best, and yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah, it was also. I just want to point this out, right? When the season started and people saw KN leaving Mandem, there was some maybe ramblings. People were like, "Oh, he's washed. Why did he leave the team? Did he get kicked off? Was he the problem?" I think I can safely say KN was not the problem on Mandem. He was definitely not the problem as to why they suddenly collapsed last season. Because my man was playing an absolutely insane game, probably the entire map, but especially that golden cap. Bro was putting the whole team on his back. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's up with this guy, but he's even better than he was last season. Something happened. It's incredible. Anyway, yeah, we're into our second map, and it looks to be Snakewater. Wow. We finally know. We literally just knew now. That's fun. They never told us. It's not even on the match page. I think they're gonna get penalties for that, aren't they? Gonna get warnings. Isn't that like a rule now that you gotta put the maps on the match page or something like that? I don't wanna like start anything here, but I'm just saying. I thought it was a rule now that you gotta put the maps on the match page, even if this match was delayed by 2 weeks. You know, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, yeah, Snakewater.
Yeah, back to a bit more of a classic on Snakewater here. I think both teams going to be feeling nice and comfy on this map. It's been around for a long, long time here, right? I mean, very, very interesting though. I mean, this really favors soldiers on this first mid. So I'm doing some thinking in my head. And if I was a betting man, I might think the Germans. I might have a good chance on this map, but the fact that last map was most likely the Germans' map, maybe the Frenchies feeling really good on this map as well. I mean, Brugman has been doing a decent amount of work as well, managing to get some good flank plays before, so maybe they're feeling a bit confident on their soldier pairing. Obviously, also got those really good scouts as well, which will take you super far on such an open map like Snakewater. So I don't know.
It's
my
so hard.
analysis means nothing.
I mean, it's like if you're looking at both teams in a vacuum, you can be like, okay, Voxy Shocky is an insane scout duo, and Fishcup and KN have been doing incredible work as well. And then if you look at the Frenchies in a vacuum, you're like, okay, but Shay and Nevo, if they hit their stride, are also insane scouts, and Brugman and Azunas are an incredible unit. They work unbelievably well together, especially, I think I've watched a match with these guys on Snakewater, and they were wreaking havoc. So it is not against Havoc, but, you know, because that's a team in the season. But it's very, very, very tough to call. Like, in terms of raw DM, at least for that first map, the Germans had a slight edge, which is surprising to me. Because Forfans were a team that were so strong last season, and we're looking really strong the start of this season as well. So getting, in my opinion, even a little upset by this Germans team is quite surprising to me. But if the Germans continue on form like this, they could win it as well. It's very tough to say. This was a very close first map, and I can see it continuing here. Then again, we might see less wacky strategies, less chaos, more of a dialed-in game for both teams, and at that point, things could very much change in the Frenchies' favor, because they seemed like they had more of a control on strategies as opposed to the Germans, so who knows? That being said, we are going into our first mid-fight, and we'll see whether or not this is going to paint a picture for the next 30 minutes. AKA, we're going to see one team just completely collapse. I would not deign to have it happen, but who knows? Maybe it very well can, as the demos exchange a little spam, as per usual.
Yep, we are all onto this first mid now. No one really taking a super amount of aggression straight away. The Germans are taking a little more height with their scouts, looking for a peek and a prod, but they're quite happy just to gain info, feel out both sides here, see who wants to make this first move. There is a soldier bomb coming in deep here. Doesn't really get too much done, but will make a lot of space, and Connor sits on a lovely little sticky set up by Alien Smiley. Will be the first pick of this round, so really well played so far. Point already going to be running away. They might get a couple of other picks during this, but no, even Brugman comes in and manages to actually get that pick. And now it's just looking bad for the Germans. Oh, they're just losing players left and right. And good night.
Okay, and is still in, trying to maybe go for a player, but he won't get anything either. Also, I'd like to just mention, that was not Connor's fault. He was actually juggled into those stickies. There was very little he could do in that situation. He did not sit on them. He just happened to be looking the wrong direction when he tried to serve the rockets from Brugman. So a very unfortunate situation to be in, an unfortunate way to go. But we have the Condog special once more. He is on the crit streak again, and even though Poi has a fat ad here, if they're not fast enough, Connor's gonna have a crits ready to respond with before they can even get in. At the very least, that's not gonna happen. They're gonna use this Uber in to try and get into this last point, so Connor's gonna have a crits to respond with once that Uber fades. They just gotta hold on to the point in the meantime.
Crits Bros Beast!
Oh, the crits Bros Beast. It's gonna be a problem to actually make it happen with Shock. He can't really go anywhere, and all this crits really does is be a zoning, but never mind. KN just slips in and manages to get the kill onto Poi, and also get Alien to 1 HP.
Yep.
I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
Poi was just stuck in a corner. I don't know how you managed to get to that position, but just completely stuck in a corner, had no chance of surviving that there. It just zoned so many people out, got so many players to 1 HP, and Poi just knew that they couldn't really get past that line of fire, so had to try to get out in a sneaky way, but ended up getting stuck in a corner, unfortunately. So this this crit's really working out well. They are going to have crits ad coming to push onto this middle point, but you'd much rather have the Uber ad you could have potentially had here instead, I think.
Yeah, Connor could have maybe tried to grab Poi's Medigun, chose not to do it. He's gonna bank on these Philip crit stickies, perhaps making something happen. They have it ready, they're gonna use it. Are they gonna actually hit anything with it? They do find Nemo and Alien just outside of it, as the scouts wreak a little bit of havoc themselves. And, well, that's all it really takes to get these Frenchies off the point. Unfortunately, they didn't find the crucial pick onto Poi, and they have a backcap threat with Azunas as well, who once again slips through, so that's gonna pull these Germans back, and they will not be able to finish up mid-cap, and now be at a disadvantage, so things aren't looking all that hot.
Yeah, the Azunas back-cap pain train play kind of worked out well. They are able to come back in. No, the Uber's not quite ready yet. It is now, however. Shocky trying to dodge and weave. He's pretending he is a boxer here. Does eventually go down. Uber does come out during all of this, so Shocky going to be the only pick from that. So once again, we're going to have that crits advantage. They should know this, however, on the Frenchies. Do they want to mount something going forward? They do get 2 picks for just 1 death, so might be the play here to just roll this one as deep as they possibly can.
Yeah, trading a scout and a soldier for a demo pick is probably not what you were looking for, especially when you're on the back foot already. They still have the crits, but now holding last with crits. It worked last time, but will it work again? I doubt it will, especially because the Frenchies are certainly not going to push until they have their Uber ready. So either you just somehow send a Hail Mary, you try to throw a flashbang in, aka a soldier bomb, that just accomplishes nothing because you're trying to push out a last, which is obviously an insane, asinine thing to do. Or you just wait, and you try to thug this one out, which is, I think, what the Germans are going to have to do, as the Uber is going to come in from the left side, and immediately Philip gets shot down by Alien as well. The sentry gets taken care of. It's going to be on the post-super fight here. They're going to get these players off the point. The crits are in play, and they do find a couple of frags with Nevo and Azunas. Alien gets taken care of as well. Brugman is in a bit of a tough spot. Will get cleaned up as well. It's only Che and Poi, and they have escaped with their lives just barely. How does that work? That's incredible.
he can't keep getting away with this. He surely can't. The laser beams just been too strong so far on this, and these players. Connor has decided to switch back to the old reliable Medigun, though, has decided it's not worth keeping on it. The Ubers are going to be even here, so it's going to have to potentially be on the Frenchies to try to push in here, but maybe they expect Connor to still be on the Kritzkrieg like he was before, and maybe go for an overly aggressive play. I don't know. We'll see. Ubers are coming up in, you know, any second now, Cerny. So, yeah, what do you think they might do?
This is the 4D chess, the mind games. At this point, the Frenchies know. They're not seeing the Germans being any way aggressive, so they know for a fact that even if they have crits, they're not gonna have a threat at it. And now that they have their own Uber, maybe the only thing that could happen here is that they have to pop early. Maybe they still think, okay, if there is a crit threat, maybe we use a little early so we don't get caught by something, but ideally, they just do this as a normal old push. They're just gonna bully their way into Saw here, take as much ground as they want, lose Che on the flank, which is obviously gonna be an immediate wrench into the spokes of that one, and they're gonna have to deal with the counter aggression out of the Germans. Shockey's already hiding in kitchen, and they have a lot of aggression out of the Saw area here as well, just pressuring back all these Frenchies. Bruchman gets shut down as Zuna's trying to follow up, but only really finds the kill onto Voxy, while KN escapes with his life, and Shockey gets taken down as well. Okay, actually, this is flipped in favor of the Frenchies once more.
Yeah, and they're able to just take so much aggression in here through Saw. Do use the Uber a lot earlier.
No.
Connor milking at 5 HP. What a Chad. Really, really good from him. Might even catch the medic in here. Nice rocket from KN, but can't find the second to take down Poi. So they will live another day here, as this now allows the Frenchies another opportunity to try to go in for something.
Yeah, but the Germans are still all up there. They're all ready. That entire Connor situation was such a train wreck as well, because he fell down by himself. He just fell down there by just not really looking where he was going, completely disconnected from his team, and somehow it wasn't a complete disaster. He's actually gotten out of it quite well. Voxy gets picked up by Azunas, though, being a bit too extended here into Saw. That being said, the scout traded for a soldier. Not necessarily a big deal for either side, and yeah, Shockey is meanwhile already so aggressive on the flank. Nobody's... Che, do be looking there. You do be on the sniper. You do be looking there. And there's a soldier on the flank to, well, snuff out that rat hiding. But still, there was an attempt made. And even with 3 players down, the Germans still kind of keen to at least a bit of a presence on second here as the Frenchies make their way forward.
Yeah, they just want to make as much time as possible, right? They want to see if a player might overextend or do something a little bit funny, but unfortunately they did lose. Those 3 players are just pushed straight back into last, and now it's going to be on the Frenchies' even Uber situation. What are they going to do? I mean, Snakewater last hold has been known to be one of the hardest last holds to push. I mean, it was much worse back in the day where we had to go against the battalion's backup on the soldiers as well. So luckily, a little bit easier now, but that gun just on the low ground just gives you so much time to really back up to your team and try to do something. But they did take down the gun, but no. Philip just going to walk into Alien's... sorry, other way around.
I was just going to leave you out. I was going to leave you out to dry on that one until you realized it. Yeah. Alien just kind of not paying attention to the stick he's at question. Philip picks him up with that, and that, slows down this French aggression once more. They're still banking on this Che sniper work. It has worked. Che has certainly shown some sniping prowess, and on the other side, you do have Shockey on the spy as well. He's actually committed to the spy play. He just has to somehow find his way in there to actually make something happen. We have the assassination classes, 2 sides of the same coin here, and Shockey is certainly going to find his way behind. Is he actually going to find his way onto the backside of that medic, though, crucially? Fishkopf getting taken down is going to make that much harder. The Spencer pick as well. Now they can push last. It's easy. It's an open field. Never mind. Shockey gets the backstab onto Alien. Che gets cleaned up as well. No sniper for them. Nothing to worry about. And Shockey even gets away with his life. This has immediately turned for the worse for the Frenchies.
Yeah, they're going to have a much harder time holding on to things, especially not having that dominated stick towards. We do see a second come in, and actually Ken and Philip follow up together to get that drop. A huge pressure play there. Philip hitting that crucial play. Ken coming in for the beautiful jump, just launching Poi up that tiny little bit. The drop comes out. Now this is going to look so good for the Germans. They take this second point. Surely they'd steamroll this into mid as well.
Don't get ahead of yourself. Che is on the spy. We have the Frenchman on the Frenchman. This could very well be immediately all null and void if they don't watch out for this. If Connor does not turn around for a second. Oh, he turned around the right time. Jay's not going to get that stab. He had a 6th sense for that one. He just turned around at the right time. That spy is out of play. Now the Germans truly have free reign for this. Losing Fishkopf is going to slow them down a tiny bit, but only ever so slightly as they just take this midpoint, muscle their way in here, and probably keep it rolling forward if they so desire as well. Obviously, they gotta wait for their soldier friend to spawn, but yeah, that's besides the point, really.
Yeah, Uber's getting pretty close now. I don't know if they will want to really push on this German side straight away. They know the Ubers are going to be basically in play by the time Fischkopf gets back up and ready to push those. They have decided for right now what they want to do is just chill out a little bit. They're probably going to want to go for a play, but they do have the chase sniper to worry about a little bit. He might have off-class more so far this game than he has done play scout, but so strong on this point. The soldier bombs do come in here, do take down KN early, but can they really get anything else? There is one in behind. That should be Fischkopf just hiding in into last, trying to look for something, but they really need to put some more pressure on from the rest of the Frenchies if you want to get anything. No, 3 players come back for him. Fischkopf is not long for this world. 2 soldiers down, but KN up so early, I don't know if they'll be able to do anything huge on this French side, but they are going to give it a go.
And they're just gonna try to sort some aggression through lower here, maybe. See if they can peek and prod, make a little bit of space for a soldier bomb. Che is actually gonna get cleaned up in the meantime. Stick to sniper! You're better at that anyway. Honestly, like, this scout thing isn't working out for you. Go back to your main class or something. Evidently. That's actually a big loss for your defending side. Going just a player down like that is always gonna put a bit of more pressure on the other players trying to shut down more doors. Obviously gives the Germans more opportunities to be a bit more aggressive as well. See if they can have a soldier do something funny. Connor taking a lot of damage as well as Voxy. Ken trying to go for a bit of a bomb here. Gets a lot of damage onto Poi. Actually, a lot of fallout damage by Philip as well. They do lose Shocker in the flank though. And even though the stickies are still there for Philip, they are not in anybody's dangerous situations right now. So yeah, the Frenchies are going to remount some counter-aggression here and perhaps see if they can muscle their way into this mid. Matter of fact, they might just be keen to go for this exchange. And Nevo finally gets popped on. Obviously, Connor's going to milk this as much as he can. As a matter of fact, he's milking it like crazy. Nevo is not hitting the shots he needs to, and there you go. Connor didn't even have to use it all.
Yeah, really well played there. Playing right on his limit there. Was Connor did not get afraid there. The damage was not enough to force him out at the end of the day. So while they do lose their flank early there and give a good opportunity for the Frenchies to come in, just not enough damage to really make anything happen. And now the advantage of having this Uber pushing onto second is going to be absolutely huge here for the Germans. They take it slow, they take it methodical like any German team should. Get this second point for free. 60% Uber up on Poi here, so probably not going to have it if they do want to push it now. And it looks like they are kind of setting up for this on the side of the Germans, but look, already 80%. You need to go now if you want anything to happen. Kind of posted up on this right hand side. Kind of wonder if they want to go for anything. Uber does come out. It's going to be on this gun. 90% on Poi though, so they need to kind of get in onto this medic. Unable to at the moment. As Zunis, it does go down. That is at least one pick, but is it going to be enough for them to defend? Uber does come back out for the side of the Frenchies. They get Connor straight away. What a travesty. Already 3 down. Oh, it's awful.
It's been such a back and forth tug of war, and neither team managing to convert these pushes either, and it's just been disastrous. KN trying to go for a cheeky play there onto Che, doesn't quite manage that either, and the rest of the Germans have to lick their wounds, get out of there, deal with the fact that they're gonna have a very slight disad, and the Frenchies are gonna retake the second for now. But man, neither team being able to convert around in almost half the map time now. It is looking like another very, very close map, another very close matchup. Neither team managing to just get quite the final push going, or much rather both teams having an absolutely amazing time holding last on the other side. To be fair, it is Snakewater, so how much of an achievement really is it to hold Snakewater last? Still, it is quite the accomplishment in this case. And yeah, Poi's gonna have a bit of an Uber ad here, gonna use that onto his team. The Germans just not quite there yet. They're not gonna be all that aggressive either, trying to contest this for too long. Just try to get out there alive. Unfortunately, Shocky is not gonna manage, but now Connor has his response Uber ready, seeing if he can catch anything with it. And the Frenchies in a similar situation, just kind of walking away, holding the S key, making sure that they don't really get caught in it. Azuna is gonna be the only to fall here, maybe Brugman as well, but he's getting away with a lot of living time right now before Nevo comes in for some follow-up, and KN gets taken care of. There goes Philip and Fischkopf and Voxy as well. It's only Connor left, and at this point, yeah, he's not hitting the miracle saw there, so it's actually a wipe for the Germans. This is a disaster.
Yeah, I think this is definitely their best opportunity to get around here so far that the Frenchies have had so far. Potentially. I mean, that medic going down so late. They are going to get a gun up, luckily, but I think that's about all they're going to get. It's going to be 60-70% Uber for the Frenchies here. So if they want to take this slow and methodical, spot things out, maybe even spam the gun early, they might be able to. There is a Pyro on Voxy playing close to this. Shutters anticipating the push from that side. Potentially, it's just going to really just not allow them to move as far forward as they might want to. Philip, I think even on that double donkin weapons are going to make things even harder.
The loose cannon in play, trying to just get people to not even walk in. Obviously, the Frenchies realize, oh, there's a Pyro in play. We'll just go to the other side and take all that free ground they've left for us on the truck side here. Get some frags, get the sentry down as well. A little bit of cap time just to put pressure on it, but that's all they've gotten so far. They got the single soldier pick. That Pyro is still in play. There's still stickies on point as well. Not much pressure onto the German combo at all. Even if they're still having so much ground, the Frenchies, they're not converting it into any sort of aggression right now. We're losing Azunas, trading out Che for Shocky as well. Not going to be doing all that much for them, and they just have to give up the ground now.
Yeah, they just didn't commit for a play there. They were too scared of that Pyro just denying their soldiers. There was one soldier desperate for an arrow in lower, and it ends up being a reasonably decent defense in the end of the day, and it's the Germans trying to push through. They are getting aggressive through Cheese here. Voxy on the beam, hoping to take down this soldier. That is Brugman going down as well, able to get absolutely no impact here, and it is gonna have to be the rest of the Frenchies running with their tail between their legs. Might even be able to convert this onto mid, but is already 90% Uber on the side of the Frenchies, so they definitely have an opportunity to defend here.
They definitely do. It is equal situation, and Brugman is going to be back with them by the time this German push would ever amount to any form of tangible, noticeable benefits. That being said, Kian tries to go in for a very aggressive bomb, gets a lot of damage onto the combo, but ultimately does not convert anything when Fishcup gets taken down as well in the meantime, and these German players are bleeding numbers once more. It's actually looking like a disaster for them. They just give this up. Connor has to use. He's just not feeling his own or his team's health at this point, and they find themselves in a situation where, yeah, now the Uber is much better for the Frenchies. Voxy does get cleaned up as well, and Philip dies in the meantime on last. Shay just gets away with that one for free. Oh no, this is the best opportunity they've had in the last 2 minutes. Come on, for sure this time for sure.
I'm a believer. I mean, with that demo down, it does just do so much. A lovely bomb from Fishkov, though, does take Brugman down for pretty much free. They are trying to play this point, have stickies on top of it, but the heavy, along with the soldier presence, may just be too much here, and they are just having to leave on the side of the Frenchies. Their health just so minimal. They know they can't contest Shocky on that full health heavy, and unfortunately, we're back to square one once again, and now it's going to be an even Uber push onto last, and this has just been difficult so far for anyone to break.
These last holes are unbeatable, but if anything, what this is showing us is how evenly matched these teams are so far. This has been a 18-minute. Can't do math anymore. Clearly, I've been absolutely cooked on this match. 18-minute round already. Nobody's found any solution to try and actually convert around. Both teams have gotten close and never managed, and with now another equal situation, I don't see the Frenchies converting this one either, unless they get an absolutely miracle opening with both soldiers going down, though, and finding nothing. Alien going in as well.
How? What? He just jumps in from that left side, goes so aggressive, sinks 2 stickies to where Connor is not looking, and just gets the perfect drop. They wanted just to send a 4-man sack in there. It was Brugman. It was, oh my goodness. And Shay just going aggressive, die instantly, and then just no one is looking for that demo man, because why would he possibly be sacking from left side? Wow.
I cannot believe what I just witnessed, but it did just happen. That being said, the Germans at least capped second to stall for a little bit of time. Shocky is still on the NG as well, well aware that this is probably not going to last, but they have bought themselves a little bit of time against this French team. Connor already back up to 60% on the crits, though, to be fair, but maybe this is the special they need. The Uber comes out of the Frenchies, the sentry is in play, gets taken down immediately, though. Now they got to make sure that they can actually get some point pressure here for the Germans to make sure that this does not get too much cap time. The heavy out on Shocky as well. The crits are almost ready. If Connor can just stay alive a little bit longer, never mind. It's not happening. Not enough point pressure, or much rather, too much point pressure out of the Frenchies. And finally, after 19 minutes, we get our first round on the board.
Yeah, well played there by Forfence. I mean, I think they're kind of seeing what they need to do to kind of beat this defense. They just take that solo scout Uber in, get the sentry gun down early, start playing point, and then when the players do kind of trickle in to try to get that, everyone else is coming in and they're focusing down the heavy and the soldiers super well. And then, you know, the rest of the mid is pretty much a done deal by them. But we are back onto this mid, Cerny, second mid. Let's see what the Germans could do.
Maybe this is a bit of a spur. They're gonna get a bit of a jump in their step now. These Germans, as they're gonna move up the pace, and finding an early alien smiley pick certainly is gonna get them somewhere. But they do lose Shocky and Fishcup for it, and put themselves at quite the risk now as well. With Connor being beset on all sides, not really taking too much damage until Bruggeman gets an absolutely amazing bomb to take down the entire combo. KN, the only one left alive. Surely there's not much he can do all by his lonesome, but maybe he gets away with another absolute masterclass here. No, this is not gonna happen. He's gonna trade it for Azunas at the very least. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Do not jump this man. He is just anti-air denial today. Really, really unfortunate there for Azunas, unfortunately. But it was looking like it was a done deal going to the second. I don't think Azunas dying is going to make too much of a difference. Connor back on the crits, but will that come into play this time? Azunas rolling out quickly, so if they want to go fast, they might get in, but there is that pyro defense close to that door, so we'll see what they opt for. Left side didn't seem to work last time, so they might go headstrong straight to the shutters.
Yeah, maybe they will. They will indeed. Yeah, they're just gonna Uber straight through. The pyro not close anymore. Matter of fact, they've just switched him off to heavy now. But everybody on the Germs is just in spawn. It's only the soldiers trying to block this point. That strategy has worked so well on the last map, and it had worked for a while on the first round. But now they actually got to count their numbers here. And yeah, if the crit's coming into play now, the laser beams out of Voxy. Azunas trying to bomb in. Connor just surfs it masterfully. It's only Poi and Alien left, and well, neither of them really in a position to do much. They can deny a Shocky from running them down, but that is about all they're gonna get here as the Germans make their way back out to second. Another masterful hold by them. It's incredible. How do they keep getting away with it?
I honestly think it is the crit screen. I mean, there's been talk in the past how it's not good, but it's just these situations where the teams think they have a little bit of time to play against, right? They know you're not going to get Uber, but they don't really think about how quick that crit screen comes in. As I'm saying all this, it's just becoming absolute shambles here. Only Shocky left alive. Might be able to take down Bruggeman here. Oh no, okay, does manage to take him down, so gonna have a little bit more of a strike, but there's a pain train on the back. I wasn't expecting this, and the Frenchies get a second round because Azunas loves the pain train.
That was a very close turn of events. So Shocky trying to keep his team alive, trying to put the team on his back, getting the kill into Poi there as well. Almost managing to finish that second cap, but the pain train does it. This is why you run the pain train. Who cares about the skill stick? Just use the pain train, man. That's what you need. Evidently, this is the perfect example. This is a textbook example of why you use it. And there you go. That gives the Frenchies a second round. Now with less than 8 minutes left, the Germans are gonna start feeling some heat. They're gonna start feeling just a little bit of pressure, trying to put 2 rounds on the board here to finally put themselves back into this map as the soldiers go high. Across the point, they find Azunas and Shay, but that's really all they've got. Bruggeman as well. They lose Philip, though, and now Connor, even though he's rotated with his team, well, never mind. It's actually looking pretty good for the Germans. I'm trying to paint it as a picture that this is going disastrously, but they've actually wiped the enemy team. They actually did pretty well.
Yeah, no, that was just a stellar bet. There's no real other way to say it. They just kind of played that pretty well. Did lose, you know, Shocky and Philip during that, but you know, you'll quite happily take that for killing the entire rest of the enemy team. So pretty well played here, and this is exactly what the Germans need. The aggression from Fishkov to get that sentry gun down early might be a really, really good thing, actually, because just not letting them set up and yeah, not letting them have a sentry can be really huge here. You'd be surprised how much time is taken up just denying those sentry gun, but now it is on the Germans to see if they can make some magic happen. They are going to have to go against a crit creek during this fight. Bomb does come in from the demo man, goes super high on Philip, gets onto the demo man, does KN, and they are getting picked left, right, center. Poi goes down, so no heals. A lot of cat time coming out. Shay does get a nice pick onto Shocky, but I don't know if much else is going to happen. Voxy gets onto the point and wins them that round. 2-1. The Germans just turned things up.
Surgical, clean. That's what you like to see. That's a quick little response. That was in under a minute. I'm pretty sure that round took less than... no, it took like a minute and a half, but still, that's a very, very fast fast response, and if they can keep that momentum up, if they can snowball this into another round, we're right back into this game, potentially to another golden cap, which is as close as you can get. Taking both maps to golden caps is about as closely matched as teams can be, so we'll see if the Germans stay in this, if they're gonna have another nice, clean wipe of a mid. These times it looks like the Frenchies are taking the initiative. They're sending the soldiers across. They find Shocky, and, well, both of the soldiers are now in behind, but also very, very low on health. They're going to need some support from their team, and there it is. Nevo picks up Voxy, and Fishkov, oh, nope, cannot get out either. Poi does get taken down. KN just somehow finds that kill on the back lines. However, Kondog is the only one left alive, and he's in an absolutely disastrous position. Any normal medic player would have pressed their kill bind way earlier than that, but oh well.
Yeah, I mean, the disrespect of just petting Connor for so long. We'll see how, if it works wonders. Poi just spawning up now, so if they do decide to build straight away, should have a reasonable advantage, but no one quite there yet. Poi running out of the forward spawn, so negligible is what this Uber advantage is actually going to end up being on the French side. Could have been about 20% if they did that perfectly, but no, in the end, it's going to be basically equal Ubers, so it's going to be difficult for the Frenchies, but they don't necessarily have to push out here. They're not the ones who are around down, and if it doesn't go to you know, end of round, yeah, I don't know, the round reset would mean that the game is basically over, but they want to push out here. Kane gets a nice first pick in there, along with Voxy taking that 1v1 from Shay. 3 kills here. This is looking really good for their push out chances.
Okay. Shocky's back. Anybody ever thought this guy was washed? Nah, man. Bro still got it. Bro has still got it. That's a nice clean wipe out of the Germans onto the Frenchies, and here you go. They're just gonna keep rolling this shit forward as far as they possibly can. They do get a bunch of forward spawns on forefence. It's gonna allow them to hold the second potentially. They do have, well, Che trying to at least forward snipe for a little bit, but he's chosen not to. They're actually just gonna set up for last. They've realized the situation they're in. They're not gonna have an easy time holding on to that second as well. Matter of fact, I don't think they're even gonna have an Uber ready for last if the Germans move fast enough here.
No, this is huge. What a coast to coast this has been. Was not expecting to see this. Obviously, I was just waffling about how they don't want us to go to a round reset, and they already knew that before my mouth even opened, because they wanted to go extremely fast. Now it's their opportunity on the Germans to push through here. Looks like they should be going for this Shutter's Uber once again. It's worked out pretty well in the past. They should just be able to get into the sentry gun and then get Voxy playing onto this point, and I think that's exactly what they might want to do. Soldiers being a little bit more annoying this time on the Frenchies, giving them a bit of a harder time about playing that point.
Doesn't matter.
But no, it doesn't. Oh, it's so close.
It's so close. The heavy's out as well. They do get their Uber in time, actually, to keep Che on that Uber as well. But he gets to take down anyone but Kondog's arrow. And even though he's the only sole survivor, there's so much cap time. And if the Frenchies are not careful here, first of all, Connor does live. So he's gonna get, you know, he's gonna have equal Ubers here with Poi at the end of the day. But if the Frenchies weren't careful enough, that could have been a disaster there. They do stack the point. They just gotta play it safe. Fair enough. Cannot blame them for it, but there's very much a chance here for the Germans to just stay right back in this. They actually have a bit of an ad. Connor did maintain about 25% over Poi by the end of that fight, so I guess that's what you write home about here, but it's gonna be a much harder time for them to push in this time around.
Yeah, things are going to be much closer, but you know, that doesn't always tell the full story, right? We a lot of the time just see these even Uber situations sometimes be easier, but with that heavy on the left side, it's going to make things really hard, just head glitching, not making it easy for this Sultry End. Zunis is behind. Can he get onto Connor? No. Good reactions by Fishkov. Again, does go down during this, but that's just going to be a single man sack. It's a 1-for-1, and now things are going to be taken a little slower, I would assume here. They do want to spam down this sentry gun on the Germans, but they actually even take down Che.
Che a bit out of position there, just gets caught by the spam as well, and yeah, that's enough for the Germans to take in the Uber. They understand that this is the situation to be in. Heavy gets pushed back to spawn, has to respawn instead. Obviously, it's going to be a bit of a better Uber for the Frenchies here as well, but they are still down a player. Just now, Che is going to be spawning, but the Frenchies are pushing to spawn. Bruchman gets taken down as well. There's a lot of cap time already, and nobody's getting out the point to block. Finally, I have so much time on the point, they just get nuked by the soldiers, and there you go, we're making it equal.
Lapointe! They did not get on the point there. Tragedy for the Frenchies here. They do still have time to bring this back, though. A minute 40, it's time to get another round and get all those points. But if that doesn't happen, we're going to a second golden cap of this game. And what a close one it has been so far. But take us off on to this final mid of regulation time here, Cerny.
Just to imagine what this match would have looked like if it was actually played in week 1 when the Germans couldn't schedule their games. God, they were probably in such a disarray in that time. Good thing they waited this long. That being said, it's not going all that well for them because Kondog immediately gets nuked down by the soldiers. However, they find Poi on the other side as well. It's just a DM fest, and unfortunately for the Germans, it looks like the Frenchies are winning this one for the time being. That being said, though, they only have 2 players alive and a minute to convert the round. I'm saying we're going to a golden cap because this is going to be a tall order to convert.
Yeah, if I was shaking my magic 8-ball here, I think it might say the same thing here. This 50 seconds, it's a hard ask from either team to really get anything rolling here. Both teams, they played enough TF2. They've had enough Snakewater last defenses. I think we are going to see one final French push. They do just about have time to get Uber if they build perfectly here, but they might have to go in without it here. It's going to be the Kritzkrieg, actually, on the French side. So they're taking a leaf out of Connor's book and want to get that little bit faster. He has been building actually really, really well here.
Yeah, he's actually still ahead. He's still ahead somehow. Even though Poise on the crits corner is somehow building faster with stock Uber. Like, at this point, unless they catch him with a stray sticky or something like that, he is just going to right-click and everything is fine. There you go. Even if they lose a couple of players, that Uber is going to keep this point secure. And with 5 seconds left and only Che and Nevo trying to run down the point, it's not going to happen. We're going to another golden cap, and this is going to be the closest match at TF2 we've seen all week.
Yeah, this has been a super, super close one. We've had a couple of these really close games happening so far, and I'm really happy to see this continue. This is the type of TF2 we want to see. These close games, these nail biters, these players going for these creative plays, these backcaps, these flanks. I think this game has had pretty much everything you can want from a game of TF2. Even had some big plays last map by KN. Oh, I think we're gonna have a little look at the logs. I expect it to be close, but yeah, let's have a little sneak peek, shall we?
Is while these gamers maybe calm themselves down prepare themselves for the golden cap performance here, and just taking a glance at it again, just overall team stats wise, dead even, right?
It can't be much closer.
85 to 84 kills, the damage just about 1,500 apart. That's really not all that much. Sure, the Uber's a little bit more for Frenchies, but what did they do with them? Nothing, right? So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, this is a dead even heat. Both medics dying the same amount of times, getting a kill each as well. The DPM across the board pretty similar. It's such a dead even match.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get much closer in terms of TF2 games than you can really. That's the Frenchies only getting a couple more Ubers is the only tiny differential we can see, but they just weren't really able to capitalize on that, as we did see the Germans just having some stellar last defense.
Especially Shocky having a good round as well.
He had an amazing round. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like we see two sides. I feel that the Frenchies kind of have these set plays a little more, while the Germans have these really rough and rugged DM plays where they're going in, pushing their limits, and just taking the DM abilities. And I don't know. I feel like once you come into this golden cap, if you do have a really nice set mid that you maybe haven't pulled out this game and you pull out onto this mid, it could be really beneficial for you. And I think the Frenchies maybe have that in the bag.
Yes, there's certainly a chance for that. They have been cleaner with the mids overall. The Germans just have not found their way into those mid fights at all. And but at the same time, it seems like this German team is they seem to do really well under pressure, right? Last map in the Golden Cap as well, they suddenly turned up in the last like 10 minutes. They suddenly turn up, grab 2 rounds back to back, right, really quickly. They seem to thrive under pressure for some reason, as opposed to the Frenchies, who have like a lot of aggression early on, a lot of control early on, but they don't have as much fuel in the tank, it seems. I feel like the Germans pace themselves a little bit more. Maybe they take a bit slower at the start. They're on the back foot, but they don't get down on that at all. And then they suddenly come swinging in the last third of the map, right? So maybe if they still have that momentum, they still have that steam here now, that's actually in their favor. The Frenchies may just be getting tired.
Yeah, quite potentially. I mean, it's getting a little late in the evening now for everyone that is playing, but I don't think that really happens too much. I think all these players, they've played enough games. They know what's going on. They'll just be talking strats, taking a break, getting a drink, just thinking about the game plan here, I think. I mean, yeah, as you say, a little bit of momentum on the German side potentially, but I think the Frenchies have just as good a chance of taking this if anyone does potentially. This season has just been really close so far. I've been really enjoying this season.
It's been impossible to call. I've said this for the past couple of weeks as well. It's impossible for me to call who will be, even in the playoffs this season. Like, I can probably make a educated guess who might not be, because they're like maybe the teams that have been having a couple of rough matches at the start of the season, but maybe again, they're just having a rough start. Like, Guard has been having a rough start, maybe, right? Farmcorp, they won week 1, but like, I wouldn't necessarily expect them to be the top teams, but then again, anything can happen, right? Maybe they just had a rough start. Now they're having, like, Garda's going to start winning every match. Suddenly they're in the playoffs, right? And every other match I've seen has been unbelievably close. I think we might have had more golden caps in the matches just the past couple of weeks than we had all of last season. It's very much plausible. I wouldn't have the exact strategies or the statistics on that, but it's certainly a possibility. I don't know. It's like both of these teams have been playing out of their minds. They've been playing to the same level. It's very impossible to tell.
Yeah, we've got to remind people who may, not know or remember much about the previous season. And this 4th team is the team that came 2nd place.
Yep.
Out of all things, they beat a Mandem team that was destined to be the biggest upset we've seen in many seasons and take down Witness Gaming, but ended up being 4th in that finals. They could not clinch that final victory, but they still came 2nd place, and they are struggling against this German team. We'll see if they can get at least 3 points in this match. Otherwise, they will be going with 2 as we are onto this mid. Soldiers bombing in high. See if they can get anything early on in this round. Brugman gets a lot of damage. Oh, this is looking so good for the Germans, though. 4 kills coming out straight away. Connor is living for now. It's just Brugman and Nevo, but neither one in any sort of position to get any kills here. This is looking amazing for the Germans.
They are having the time of their lives. I can imagine the atmosphere in the Mumble. Like, there was probably a bit of tension. They were like, okay, guys, let's thug this one out. Let's get this going. Immediately after that mid, I can feel the tension being lifted from halfway across the country. But they are probably feeling it right now. If they carry this into a last push that works wonderfully, they are easily taking home the most points today. That being said, Frenchie's not necessarily a team to crack under pressure. They are able to easily hold this if they play it right. They have Nevo on the sniper as well. The Uber does come in from the left side, and instead the Sentry is not going to do much against that. And even though they leave it alive for so long, Nevo does find the shot onto Box. Oh, the corner! Okay. All right. Damn, calm down. Jeez.
Nice shots ringing out there. They were just not able to deal with that sentry gun earlier, I think was the big thing. Shay was just standing there, just hitting it with his little wrench, not able to get anything. I just want to say during that, I'm like 90% sure Voxy's mouse died. He was just WASD strafing, not moving his mouse, and then just stopped and got headshot by Jay. So I think really unfortunate the wireless mouse curse may have potentially come out there and doomed that last push, but yeah, they just didn't really get enough space or enough pressure early on there for anything to happen. We do see them trying to push in here. KN comes in deep, tries to go for the force on Poi, does not manage to succeed here, unfortunately, so it will be the Frenchies with this full Uber just bullying out the Germans. They don't even stay. They want to play it safe in this golden cap.
It's very, very fair on them. They're also fiending. They were desperately trying to get that force out of Poi. Even just buying themselves a lot of time, though. So sending a single player to buy yourself a lot of time, it's probably going to work fine here. They're going to be able to hold second now for sure. Connor's going to have his Uber ready. Even if Brugman jumps in, gets a bit of a force, they're just going to be able to make it in exchange with how aggressive the Frenchies are. And the Uber advantage has been lost. So unless the Germans completely drop the ball here and Connor dies there, which he's in a pretty rough situation. Oh no!
He drops!
Shade just slips in behind and drops him. It's all coming apart for the Germans.
How was no one watching their flank there? Where does he even come from? He must have run in through cheese. Potentially, and got in there, but Connor left on 25 HP. He did a really good job of milking that Uber through all that pressure, the Brugman bomb, and then the pipe, but then just gets dropped. This is an absolute travesty here. This is now going to be the Frenchies back on that, leading foot.
Okay, and trying to do a little bit of cheeky wall bugging there on second. Unfortunately, that's not gonna work. And yeah, Germans on the back foot. Poi still feeling absolutely no danger. Hasn't even had to right-click once this entire round. Meanwhile, Connor's already died 2 times in the golden cap. It's not looking all that good for the Germans at all. But they bought themselves a decent chunk of time anyway. And well, the Frenchies have held against this before. They certainly have a chance to do it on the same as the Germans, but they're gonna have to get on this point fast because there's a lot of cap time already, and the sentry's taken down as well. The Uber has faded, though, for the Frenchies, and now it's gonna be on the DM. Nevo and Bruchman get taken down. The rest of the Frenchies all bunched up on the right side, and they're just gonna have to run out of there. So for once more, the Germans held that pretty damn well, and I actually don't understand how the Frenchies botched that push so poorly.
No, they came from under, right, and they wanted to lock them in, but then there was just no pressure from right side by any soldiers to get that sentry gun down. So by the time they got it down, there was already soldiers ready to jump out of spawn, block that point, and then they just lost a couple players in the end of the day from the Frenchies, and they decided to back out. It's a safer option. You're unlikely to win that DM fight when the the resupply cabinet is so close, and it's basically just unlimited health for them to go back to on the Germans. So really well played there. We'll see what continues to happen. Both teams seem to want to fight. Uber's pretty much even. Nevo is on this beam. It's going to be Ubers for both sides. No funny shenanigans, but there's an absolute minefield of stickies by Philip, and they will decide, you know what, let's go back, let's hold second here on the Frenchies. We haven't really had a big opportunity to do this yet in this round, and it's a pretty decently safe space to be.
Yeah, we've got a third of our golden cap time down. It's rare they go this far. It is not very common that golden caps actually even go for 5 minutes. It's actually quite the tight round still. Neither team willing to go too much, commit too much. KN trying to jump in into Cheese just gets shut down by 4 players almost chasing him down, but they do find Bruchman on the turn, and Voxy's in so deep as well. They actually drop point? Huh?
They're just coming out left, right, and center. Yeah, just enough distraction. Comes in, hits the air shot, and that's more than enough here. Just going to come in, try to get any of these stragglers who are trying to go behind it. Is Azunis trying to make a distraction. Is in behind into Saw, but I don't know how much use this is really going to be when there's just all of these German players cuddled up on this second point here. It's going to meet KN, might get this a pick onto him. He's a little bit blissfully unaware. But yeah, they are going to have this full Uber advantage. We are going to see the crits creek out of the Frenchies. They've seen it work well for Connor, so why can't it work well for them here? It does look like they're mounting a push onto this last point already. They want to go in. Voxy is going to be used on, but it's going to be very, very late here. They've got a lot of pressure already in. Shocky standing on this point, takes a lot of damage from those stickies, able to be finished up by Bruchman, but he also gets killed. The heavy is out, and we've seen it do wonders so far. Connor just walking in a straight line will also go down. Philip tries to go in for a final hoorah, but it doesn't look like it will be enough here. Shay on the 4K, on the Putis. They've survived another day. This is so close.
The Germans running out of just ammunition. Nothing left to kill the heavy with. Not enough ammo. You simply just don't have it. And that's the Frenchies. We're converting another round here, keeping Poi in this with this crits charge as well. If they can actually make use of that, they have a potentially quite the snowballing potential here, because I don't know how aware the Germans are going to be of that crits potential. How aware they're going to be that they might just be meeting a 300 damage sticky flying towards them momentarily, a pipe bomb across the map that will instantly kill you. So you may want to be a bit careful. That being said, the Frenchies are also taking their sweet time. There you go. There's the first crit sticky. It does find Fishcup, but now they're going to be aware of the crits, and they're going to try to run out of there. Shocky does get caught by a lingering one as well, but that is all she wrote with that crit streak. Only 2 frags.
2 frags, not so bad though. It does give you a good opportunity. That is basically the flank down here, essentially. But they are playing so close. They know this is what they're going to be thinking on the Frenchies here, and they just blockade this door. KN getting some good early damage here is going to make it a lot harder for the Frenchies to really push through and get a force here. They do send a bomb in, but not really going to be able to do much.
Oh no!
As I say that, as soon as comes in from downtown, and that's our 3rd drop of this fight, of this golden cap.
Connor hits a beautiful surf, but can't land on the pack. Azunis is there to cut him off immediately as well. And once more, he has not found the right mouse button. Maybe he's got one of those old mice that only has the left mouse button or something like that. I don't know what's going on there. It would only be a left mouse button in that case, but yeah. Either way, Frenchies, once more, trying to push last. Germans have held this before, it's certainly possible. Shocky on the sniper as well, trying to shut down that Azunis bomb, immediately does so, but the Frenchies pop in with those crits once more, seeing if they can find anything with it. They have not switched off yet, and Connor's finding himself in a lot of danger already. He's taken out of the equation. No heals for the Germans here, but no players for the Frenchies. Nobody's alive. It's only Nevo and Che, and neither of them are in great positions to make much happen. They're just gotta run out of there, potentially. Nevo maybe trying to be cheeky here in lobby, but he's just gonna get shut down by Shocky. You don't take those 1v1s against Shocky. Come on. You don't win those.
Yeah, Shocky does not lose those any day of the week. And what a travesty here. Just anything they seem to try on the Frenchies, the Germans have a rebuttal for. It's been so strong. They need to be careful these stickies. Azunis loses his life straight away there. So that is going to definitely be the call for the aggression to come out from the Germans here, as they are just chasing as deep as they possibly can, taking all of this aggression, as the Frenchies just have to run back. No soldiers to spam from that height to slow things down. The Germans, like a tank, able to walk forward here.
That's a very interesting metaphor to use there. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's aged out. It's been like 80 years, right? I think we can look past that age. Back and forth, coast to coast, the rope pulling tug of war, back and forth. Neither team being able to convert last pushes. Both teams holding their minds on last as well, as they find an opening frag onto Che here onto the Frenchies, but both medics have their Ubers. Powie is going to get popped first. Obviously, Connor responds to save his scout, and Shocky does get picked off in the flank in the meantime, but is that enough to really buy the Frenchies enough time here? They are not in great positions at all. They finally bomb the combo. Connor does get taken down. Poi died as well, though, so no heals for either side, and the frags are falling in the favor of the Germans. Alien in a very rough spot, trying to maybe go for a wraparound here. He's not going to find much to do, and Che just trying to maybe get his demo out alive. He very much so will.
Yeah,
but there's
Foxy
already a
on
Voxy on last. He's already capping so much, and it's not like Alien can contest until he gets an arrow. Finally, they block, but there's the bomb by KN. He doesn't get any frags with it until like only Che. Okay. There's a lot going on.
I don't know how Voxy, he just needed to hit that 1 HP shot to win the round, to bring it all home for the Germans there, but just couldn't clinch things out, and this just gives the Frenchies more of an opportunity to hold onto this last point with 4 minutes remaining on this round timer. Surely they just burn down the clock, right?
I mean, at this point, you might as well go for the golden mid-fight. It would probably be the closest match you've seen in seasons, but man, oh man, the Germans surely have not a chance here. They're just going to go in raw without the Ubers even, go in dry, see what they can do. The sentry is taken down. It's not much of a problem at all. So much cap time still. They're going to try to convert it, and nobody from the Frenchies can get onto it in time. And there you go. The Germans take the second map and a golden cap as well. Finally, it is over. A match almost as close as it could possibly have been.
Yeah, that was insanely close. Really well played by the Germans there, just to go in for that dry push. And that's what you need to do sometimes, right, in TF2. You just need to go aggressive. You need to go for those plays that maybe they're not expecting. They just took all that space with players. They got the sentry gun down early because they just had so many people. And then they just had to worry about threats from all sides on the Frenchies, and just couldn't worry about the point as much as maybe they wanted. Didn't have stickies to take down those initial players. Just allowed them to get free cap time once the gun was dead. And yeah, just really well played from the Germans. I've loved these aggressive plays they've been going for. Something really creative, and yeah, it's nice to see. Taking home 4 points, I think the Germans are going to be very happy, especially as it is against 4 Fence.
Yeah, the second team incumbent team from last season. That is not a small order. Basically, if you're going by objective stats, they just took down the best team in the season, technically. Because Witness isn't playing, so that by proxy makes 4 Fence the strongest team from last season that is still incumbent. So the Germans just beat the best team in Prem, which means they're now the best team in Prem.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, that's all. That's how the statistics work. Now, that was an incredible match. It was the closest match I've seen in seasons. Probably, it's actually incredible. It's impossible to encapsulate all that in one talk. I wish we still had weekly recap shows. There would be I feel like if we had those. If Wandem was around for shit like that, he would love to host that probably. He'd probably have a ton to talk about. I can imagine that.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, yeah, just not the staffing for that right now. But yeah, what a banger of a match. Really glad to have casted that. And I mean, If you know anyone that's just missed this game, make sure to tell them to watch it because it was an absolute nail biter the entire way through that. Lovely to see Sultry being played as well, one of our new maps this season. So yeah, great stuff to see that come out. Super close games at both times through, but the German just managing to clinch it out in the end, win that 4-2. So if you have just joined us, don't let that 2-0 lie to you because that was a great one. But not too much from me, Sen, if you want to finish things off.
Nah, there's nothing else to talk about except more games this week. I'm pretty sure there's at least one more on Sunday. I don't remember. It's been a busy week for games. Everybody just wanted to play the first week of November, I guess, for some reason. But yeah, there's at least one more match on Sunday, so stay tuned for that, I suppose. And all the usual channels follow and all that stuff. Keep your eyes peeled for other stuff. Maybe there's another game. Like maybe they're going to play a week 7 game. We're going to travel into the future now and just get that one out of the way. So yeah, that's it from us for tonight. It's been a long night. Goodbye.